In review number 5, we will take a look at equations, expressions, and the order of operations. Now you know you're looking at an equation because it has an equal sign and at least one variable. But expressions have no equal sign, and they do have one variable or more. The order of operations are the rules we follow when we solve equations and when we evaluate expressions. So the order of operations tells us to work from left to right and tells us to do whatever's in parentheses first, and then to go back through left to right looking for multiplication or division and do that, and then go back reading left to right and do addition or subtraction. So let's see how this looks. Now remember that the word equation, the root word, is the same as equal. So when you're talking about equations, you have the equal sign, and you need to be sure that whatever's on the left side of the equal sign is equivalent to what's on the right side. So let's see how this might work. A simple equation like 4 plus 5 equals n. We have an equal sign and we have the variable n. Well, 4 plus 5 equal 9. So what's on the left side of the equation is equal to what's on the right side of the equation. Now let's take a look at an expression. So if we have 2n plus 5, that's an expression. There's no equal sign, but there is a variable. So this is an example of an expression. Now oftentimes you will be asked to evaluate an expression. And they'll say if n equals some number, let's just pick the number 2, then evaluate the expression 2n plus 5. Okay, now remember when there is a variable that immediately follows a number, it's as if there's an invisible multiplication sign between the number and the variable. So we can take this expression and write it as 2 times n plus 5. Now, if n equals 2, we'll write 2 times 2 plus 5. And the order of operations tells us to read from left to right and to do what's in parentheses first. Well, there are no parentheses. So the next thing we do is we read again from left to right looking for multiplication or division. And here's multiplication. So 2 times 2 equal 4, and then we bring the rest of the expression along. Now we read again from left to right looking for addition or subtraction, and we find addition in this expression. And 4 plus 5 equal 9. So now let's take an equation that's similar to our expression 2 times n plus 5, but this time we'll make it into an equation. 2 times n plus 5 equal, let's say, 15. So this will be our equation. Now, the rules in the order of operations tell us to work from left to right and to look for what's in parentheses first. Well, we don't see anything in parentheses, So let's rewrite this as 2 times n plus 5 equal 15. So reading from left to right, we do find a multiplication sign, but this is the variable. So we can't really do much with 2 times n. So let's get rid of this 5. Let's remove 5 from both sides of the equal sign. So 2 times n plus 5 minus 5 equal 15 minus 5. Now you see we're removing 5 from both sides. And then that way we can get closer to finding out what the value of n is. Because in an equation, you need to find out the value of n. They don't tell you the value of n. So 2 times n plus 5 minus 5 is 0 equal 15 minus 5, that's 10. And we can write this as 2 times n equal 10 because the 0 goes away. So I think at this point you can see what the answer would be. 2 times 5 equals 10. So n must be equal to 5. n equals 5. And that's how you solve an equation. So let's take a closer look at the order of operations. We know what the 4 operations are: addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So the order of operations tell us the order in which to perform these operations. Now we've also learned that you can use parentheses in your equations. So the order in which we do these operations and the parentheses, we start by working whatever's in parentheses first, and then reading the equation from left to right, we look for multiplication or division, and we do them in whatever order they appear in. So if multiplication comes first in the equation, you would do that first. But if division comes first, reading from left to right, you would do division first. Then after you've done the multiplication or the division, then you read the equation again from left to right, looking for addition or subtraction. And again, you do them in whatever order they appear in, reading from left to right. So let's take an equation like this one. 5 times 2 plus 3 minus 4 equal n. We know it's an equation because there's an equal sign and a variable. So the order of operations tells us to do what's in parentheses first. So 5 times 2 equals 10 plus 3 minus 4 equals n. Now reading from left to right, we're going to be looking for addition or subtraction, and we'll do whatever comes first. So addition comes first. 10 plus 3 is 13 minus 4 equals n. And now we'll simplify the last step. 13 minus 4 is 9. 9 equals n. We solved this equation and we discovered that 9, everything on this side of the equal sign, equals 9. 9 equals n. So let's take a look at a very similar equation. What if the parentheses were not around the 5 times 2? And the equation looked like this. Well, the order of operations tells us if there are no parentheses, you're going to read from left to right, looking for multiplication or division, whichever comes first. Well, we still have multiplication first. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 3 minus 4 equals n. And I think you can see that this is now the same as this one. And the answer we got was that 9 equals n. So in this case, it didn't really matter whether there were parentheses or not. But what if the equation looked like this? Okay, what if the equation was 5 times 2 plus 3 minus 4 equals n? And what if there were parentheses around the 2 plus 3? Now that's going to be very different. We need to do what's in parentheses first. So we'll say 5 times 2. 5 times, what's 2 plus 3? 2 plus 3 is 5. So 5 times 5 minus the 4 equals n. Now reading from left to right, we're looking for multiplication or division. We find multiplication. 5 times 5 equals 25 minus 4 equals n. Well, when we simplify 25 minus 4, we get 21 equals n. So the answer here is very different than the answer up here. For this equation, everything on this side of the equal sign is equal to 21, not 9. And the only difference is the parentheses were around the 2 plus 3. So following the rules in the order of operations is very, very important. Otherwise, you might not get the correct answer.